Hello and welcome to Speak Easy English, the podcast dedicated to helping you communicate confidently and fluently in English. I'm your host, John, and I'm thrilled you've joined me today as we explore a goal that's top of mind for so many English learners: how to unlock fluent English communication. If you've ever felt that you know a lot of English words and grammar rules but struggle to express yourself smoothly in conversations, then this episode is definitely for you. First, let me introduce myself. I'm John, and for years I've guided learners like you to move beyond textbook English and into the world of natural, confident conversation. I've noticed a common pattern. Students often have a good grasp of English, but fear, hesitation, or a lack of practical speaking opportunities hold them back from true fluency. They feel stuck, unable to translate their knowledge into real-world communication. But here's the good news. Achieving fluent communication doesn't have to be an elusive dream. It's not about memorizing more vocabulary or perfecting every grammar point before you start. It's about adopting smart strategies and building the right habits. In this podcast, I'm going to share practical, enjoyable techniques you can start using immediately. Whether you're just beginning to piece sentences together or you're looking to polish your conversational skills, these tips will help you practice speaking and listening in ways that build real fluency and fit into your life. You'll discover how to think more in English, reduce hesitation, and most importantly, enjoy the journey of becoming a more fluent speaker. I want you to hold on to this thought. You are already on your way to becoming a fluent English speaker. The key is to approach communication with curiosity, persistence, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone, even just a little. In today's episode, we'll dive into what true fluency means and practical steps to develop it, making your English conversations more natural and enjoyable. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's explore how to unlock your fluent English communication together. Understanding true fluency in communication. Before we jump into specific techniques, let's clarify what we mean by fluent communication. You might think fluency is about speaking perfectly, without any mistakes, or knowing every single word in the English language. But that's not quite right. And aiming for that kind of perfection can actually hinder your progress. When we talk about fluency, we're not just thinking about error-free speech. We're picturing someone who can express their ideas, opinions, and feelings smoothly and effectively. It's about the flow of conversation, the ease with which you can understand others and make yourself understood. This is what true fluent communication is all about. Effortless communication, or fluency, is about removing the mental blocks and anxieties that often get in the way of speaking. It's about developing a comfortable relationship with the language where you can think and respond more spontaneously. Imagine, instead of overthinking every word or constantly worrying about your grammar, you're engaging in conversations with a sense of ease and confidence. This might seem like a distant goal, but it's achievable with the right approach. Here's how you can start to think about and build true fluency. Shift your focus from perfection to connection. The primary goal of language is communication, not perfection. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. If you're so worried about saying everything perfectly, you might hesitate too much or avoid speaking altogether. Instead, focus on getting your message across. When you prioritize connection over perfection, you'll find that you speak more freely, and ironically, your fluency will improve faster. Embrace pauses and fillers. Naturally, fluent speakers don't always speak in a continuous, unbroken stream. They use natural pauses to think, and they use filler words like well, you know, or like though try not to overuse the last one. Learning to use these naturally can actually make you sound more fluent, as it mimics natural speech patterns rather than sounding robotic. The key is not to fill every silence, but to use them as native speakers do, strategically and sparingly. Learn chunks and collocations, not just single words. One of the secrets to speaking more fluently is to learn words in chunks, or common, pairings, collocations. For example, instead of just learning make and decision, learn make a decision. Instead of fast and food, learn fast food. When you learn phrases and common expressions, your brain doesn't have to work as hard to piece individual words together. This speeds up your speaking and makes you sound more natural. Think about how you learned your native language. You picked up phrases and sentence patterns as whole units. Practice thinking in English. A major hurdle to fluency is translating in your head from your native language to English. This slows you down and can lead to unnatural-sounding sentences. Start small. Try to think in English for a few minutes each day. Narrate your daily activities to yourself in English. I'm making coffee now. I need to check my emails. As you get more comfortable, you'll find it easier to respond spontaneously in conversations. Listen actively to native speech patterns. Fluency is as much about understanding as it is about speaking. Pay close attention to how native speakers connect words, their rhythm, intonation, and stress patterns. Listen to podcasts, watch TV shows, and engage in conversations. The more you immerse yourself in authentic English, the more these patterns will become familiar, and you'll start to incorporate them into your own speech. Don't be afraid to simplify. If you can't think of the perfect complex sentence, simplify. It's better to express your idea clearly with simpler language than to get tangled up trying to form a complicated sentence and then lose your train of thought. As your confidence grows, you can gradually incorporate more complex structures. Focus on progress, not just speed. Some learners think fluency means speaking very quickly. While speed can be a component, clarity is more important. Aim for a comfortable, natural pace where you can articulate your words clearly. Rushing can lead to more mistakes and make you harder to understand. In essence, true fluency is about communicating with confidence and ease. It's about being understood and understanding others without excessive effort. It's a skill that develops over time with consistent practice and the right mindset. By focusing on these aspects, you'll be well on your way to unlocking your own fluent English communication. The power of active listening for fluent speaking. One of the most foundational, yet often underestimated skills for developing fluent English communication is active listening. You might think, I listen to English all the time, but there's a big difference between passively hearing English and actively listening to it. When you truly listen, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're engaging with the language on a deeper level. This engagement is crucial for improving your own speaking fluency. Why is active listening so powerful? It builds your internal language model. When you actively listen, you're absorbing the rhythm, intonation, pronunciation, and common phrases of English. Your brain starts to recognize patterns and internalize how native speakers structure their sentences and connect ideas. This internal model becomes the foundation upon which you build your own spoken English. You start to develop an intuitive feel for what sounds right. It expands your vocabulary and grammar. In context, active listening exposes you to new words and grammatical structures used in real-life situations. You hear how words are actually used, not just their dictionary definitions. This contextual learning is far more effective for retention and proper usage than memorizing isolated lists. It improves your pronunciation and accent. By paying close attention to how native speakers pronounce words and link sounds together, connected speech, you can start to mimic these patterns. This doesn't mean you need to lose your own accent, but it helps improve clarity and makes your English sound more natural and easier to understand. It helps you understand conversational cues. Fluent communication isn't just about words. It's also about understanding pauses, tone of voice, emphasis, and even nonverbal cues, if you're watching. Active listening helps you pick up on these subtleties, which are essential for effective interaction. So, how can you practice active listening? Listen with a purpose. Don't just have English playing in the background. Set an intention. Are you listening for new vocabulary? For specific grammar structures? For the speaker's main idea or opinion? For how they pronounce certain sounds? Having a focus sharpens your attention. Choose engaging content. Select materials that genuinely interest you and are at an appropriate level or slightly challenging. This could be podcasts, like this one, audiobooks, YouTube videos, TV shows, or movies. If you're engaged, you're more likely to listen attentively. Try English Amazing Podcast for varied topics, or find niche podcasts related to your hobbies. Minimize distractions. When you're practicing active listening, try to find a quiet space where you can concentrate. Turn off notifications and focus solely on the audio. Don't be afraid to re-listen and use transcripts. If you're listening to something and find it difficult, listen to it multiple times. The first time, just try to get the gist. The second time, listen for more details. If a transcript is available, listen while reading along. This helps connect the sounds you hear with the written words. Practice shadowing. This technique involves listening to a short audio clip and then trying to repeat it exactly as you heard it, mimicking the speaker's pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It's a fantastic way to improve your spoken fluency and pronunciation simultaneously. Listen to different accents and speaking styles. English is spoken with many different accents. Exposing yourself to a variety will improve your comprehension and make you a more versatile communicator. Reflect and summarize. After listening to a piece of content, try to summarize the main points in your own words, either out loud or by writing them down. This tests your comprehension and helps reinforce what you've learned. By making active listening a regular part of your English learning routine, you're not just improving your ability to understand. You're directly fueling your ability to speak more fluently, naturally, and confidently. It's the input that shapes your output. Speaking with confidence, even with imperfections. Now, let's tackle what is often the biggest hurdle for English learners. Speaking with confidence. You might have a decent vocabulary and understand grammar, but when it comes time to actually speak, fear and self-doubt creep in. You worry about making mistakes, about your accent, or about not finding the right words. This fear can be paralyzing, but it's something you can overcome. The truth is, confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build through practice. And here's a crucial point. You don't need to be perfect to be confident. Confidence comes from accepting your imperfections in speaking anyway. Why is speaking, even imperfectly, so important? It activates your knowledge. You can study grammar rules and vocabulary lists for hours, but until you start using them in speech, they remain passive knowledge. Speaking forces your brain to retrieve and use what you've learned, making it active and strengthening those neural pathways. It identifies your weaknesses. When you speak, you quickly realize which words you're missing which grammar points are tricky, or where your pronunciation needs work. This is valuable feedback. Mistakes are not failures. They are signposts showing you what to focus on next. It builds fluency. Through repetition, the more you practice forming sentences and expressing ideas in English, the more automatic it becomes. Phrases and structures that once felt awkward will start to flow more naturally. It desensitizes you to fear. The more you put yourself in situations where you have to speak English, the less intimidating it becomes. Each successful, even if imperfect, interaction builds a little more confidence for the next one. How can you start speaking with more confidence? Start small and safe. You don't have to jump into a high-stakes debate on your first day. Talk to yourself. This is a fantastic, no-pressure way to practice. Narrate your day. Describe what you see. Express your opinions out loud in English. Nobody is there to judge you. Record yourself. Use your phone to record yourself speaking. It might feel strange at first, but listening back can help you identify areas for improvement in pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. You'll also notice what you're doing well. Embrace mistakes as learning tools. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a language. Even native speakers make slips of the tongue. Instead of cringing, try to see mistakes as opportunities. If someone corrects you, thank them. If you notice a mistake yourself, make a mental note and try to get it right next time. Find speaking partners, language exchange apps. Apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Speaky connect you with native English speakers who want to learn your language. You can chat, send voice messages, or even have calls. Online tutors or conversation clubs. Platforms like Italki or Cambly offer lessons with tutors. Many communities also have online speaking clubs where you can practice in a supportive group environment. Prepare for common situations. If you know you'll be in a situation where you need to speak English, e.g., ordering food, asking for directions, a job interview, practice some key phrases and sentences beforehand. This can reduce anxiety and boost your confidence. Focus on communication, not perfection. Remember, the goal is to get your message across. If you forget a word, try to describe it or use a synonym. Don't let the pursuit of the perfect word stop you from speaking. Use simple language. Clearly, it's better to say something simple and correct than something complex and confusing. As your confidence grows, you can naturally start using more sophisticated language. Celebrate your speaking victories. Did you have a short conversation in English? Did you successfully order coffee? Did you ask a question and get understood? Acknowledge these successes. Each one is a step forward. Building speaking confidence is a gradual process. Be patient with yourself. Create regular opportunities to speak, and remember that every time you open your mouth to use English, you're getting closer to your fluency goals. Building your vocabulary naturally and effectively. Having a rich vocabulary is undeniably important for fluent communication. The more words you know, the more precisely you can express yourself and understand others. However, the way you learn vocabulary makes a huge difference. Simply memorizing long lists of isolated words is often inefficient and makes it hard to actually use those words in conversation. The key is to build your vocabulary naturally and effectively through context. Why is learning vocabulary in context so much better? Better retention. When you encounter a new word within a sentence, story, or conversation, it has meaning and connection. This makes it far more memorable than a word floating alone on a list. Your brain links the new word to the surrounding ideas. creating stronger memory traces. Understanding nuance and usage. Many words have multiple meanings or subtle differences in usage depending on the situation. Context helps you grasp these nuances. For example, the word run can mean many things: run a race, run a company, run a program. Context clarifies which meaning is intended. Knowing how to use the word. Learning a word in context shows you how it fits grammatically into a sentence, what prepositions it's commonly used with, collocations, and the typical situations where it's appropriate. This practical knowledge is crucial for using the word correctly yourself. Making. Learning more. Engaging. Discovering new words through interesting stories, articles, movies, or conversations is much more enjoyable and motivating than rote memorization. How can you build your vocabulary naturally and effectively? Read widely and regularly. Reading is one of the best ways to encounter new vocabulary in a rich context. Choose materials you enjoy: novels, news articles, blogs, magazines, even graded readers designed for English learners. Don't stop for every unknown word initially. Try to guess the meaning from the surrounding sentences. If a word keeps appearing or seems crucial, then look it up. Pay attention to how words are used. Watch and listen to authentic English content. Movies, TV shows, documentaries, podcasts, and YouTube videos are fantastic resources. Use subtitles. English subtitles are best once you reach an intermediate level to connect spoken words with their written forms. Notice how characters use language in different social situations. Keep a vocabulary journal with context. When you come across a new, useful word, write it down. Note the sentence or phrase where you found it. Look up its meaning and pronunciation. Try to write 1 or 2 new sentences using the word yourself. This actively processes the word. Focus on high-frequency words and collocations. Not all words are equally useful. Prioritize learning words that are commonly used. Also, learn words that naturally go together, collocations, like make an effort, strong coffee, heavy rain, or keen interest. This makes your speech sound more natural. Use spaced repetition systems, SRS. Tools like Anki or Quizlet can be very effective if used correctly. Instead of just putting a single word on one side and a definition on the other, create flashcards that include the word in a sample sentence or a closed deletion, a sentence with the target word blanked out. This reinforces contextual learning. Actively use new vocabulary. The most crucial step is to try and use the new words you learn. Incorporate them into your speaking practice and writing. The more you use a word, the more it becomes a permanent part of your active vocabulary. Challenge yourself to use 2 to 3 new words in your conversations each day. Learn word families. When you learn a word like beauty, noun, also learn related forms like beautiful, adjective, and beautify, verb. This expands your vocabulary much faster. Building a strong, usable vocabulary is an ongoing process. By focusing on learning words in context and actively using them, you'll find that new words stick better, and you'll be able to access them more easily when you're speaking, leading to more fluent and articulate communication. The crucial role of consistent, enjoyable practice. We've talked about understanding fluency, active listening, confident speaking, and building vocabulary. But none of these will fully develop without one key ingredient: consistent, enjoyable practice. Many learners fall into the trap of thinking they need long, intensive study sessions to make progress. While dedication is great, it's the regularity and quality of your practice that truly makes the difference in achieving fluent communication. Why is consistent, enjoyable practice so vital? Reinforces learning and builds habits. Short, regular. Practice sessions are more effective for long-term retention than sporadic, lengthy ones. When you engage with English consistently, you're constantly reinforcing what you've learned, preventing it from fading. This repetition helps to automate language skills, turning conscious effort into unconscious competence, a hallmark of fluency. It also builds a learning habit that becomes a natural part of your routine, prevents burnout and maintains motivation. Trying to cram too much information in long, infrequent sessions can lead to mental fatigue and frustration. This all-or-nothing approach often results in burnout, causing learners to give up. Shorter, more frequent and enjoyable sessions keep you engaged and motivated because they feel manageable and rewarding. Allows for incremental progress. Fluency isn't achieved overnight. It's built brick by brick through small, consistent efforts. Regular practice allows you to make steady, incremental progress. These small wins accumulate over time, leading to significant improvements that you might not notice day to day, but become evident over weeks and months. Integrates English into your life. The goal is for English to become a natural part of your life, not just a subject you study. Consistent practice, especially when woven into activities you already do, helps achieve this. It makes English feel less like a chore and more like a tool or a hobby. How can you establish consistent, enjoyable practice? Set realistic, small goals. Instead of saying, "I will study for 2 hours every day," which can be daunting, aim for something more specific and achievable, like, "I will listen to a 15-minute English podcast during my commute," or "I will speak with a language partner for 20 minutes 3 times a week," or "I will read 1 news article in English before bed." Schedule your practice. Treat your English practice like any other important appointment. Block out short periods in your calendar. Even 15 to 30 minutes of focused practice daily is more effective than hours once a week. Make it enjoyable. Find your passion in English. This is key. If you enjoy what you're doing, you're far more likely to stick with it. Love movies? Watch them in English, with or without subtitles. Enjoy music. Listen to English songs, look up the lyrics, and sing along. Have a hobby? Find English language YouTube channels, blogs, or forums about it. Like games? Play online games that require communication in English. Integrate English into your daily routine. Change your phone or computer language to English. Think in English. While doing chores or exercising, listen to English podcasts or audiobooks while cooking, cleaning, or commuting. Follow English-speaking influencers or news sources on social media. Don't break the chain. Try to do something in English every single day, even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes on busy days. This maintains momentum and reinforces the habit. Mix it up. To keep things interesting, vary your activities. One day, focus on listening, another on speaking, another on reading. This not only prevents boredom but also develops different skills. Track your progress and celebrate milestones. Acknowledge how far you've come. Did you understand a whole movie without subtitles? Did you have a longer than usual conversation? These achievements, big or small, fuel motivation. Remember, the journey to fluent communication is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency trumps intensity. By making your English practice a regular, enjoyable part of your life, you'll build sustainable habits that lead to lasting fluency and confidence. Embracing imperfection and celebrating your journey. As we draw towards the end of our discussion on unlocking fluent English communication, there's one final crucial mindset to cultivate: embracing imperfection and celebrating your unique journey. So often, learners get discouraged because they compare themselves to others, focus on their mistakes, or feel they aren't progressing fast enough. This negative self-talk can be a major roadblock to fluency. Why is embracing imperfection so important? Reduces fear and anxiety. The pressure to be perfect creates immense anxiety, which inhibits your ability to speak freely. When you accept that mistakes are a natural and necessary part of learning, you liberate yourself from this fear. This allows you to take more risks, experiment with language, and ultimately learn faster. Fosters a growth mindset. Viewing challenges and mistakes as opportunities for growth rather than as failures is the essence of a growth mindset. This perspective encourages persistence and resilience, which are vital for long-term language learning success. Makes the process more enjoyable. If you're constantly berating yourself for imperfections, learning becomes a chore. When you're kind to yourself and acknowledge your efforts, the journey becomes more positive and sustainable. Reflects reality. No one, not even native speakers, speaks perfectly all the time. Communication is about connection, not flawless execution. How can you embrace imperfection and celebrate your progress? Set realistic expectations. Fluency takes time and consistent effort. Don't expect to become a perfect speaker overnight or even in a few months. Understand that there will be ups and downs, plateaus, and moments of frustration. This is normal. Focus on communication, not just accuracy. Remind yourself that the primary goal is to understand and be understood. If you convey your message, even with a grammatical error or a mispronounced word, that's a success. Reframe mistakes. Instead of thinking, "Oh, I made a mistake, I'm terrible at English," think, "Okay, that wasn't quite right. What can I learn from this?" Every error is a data point guiding your learning. Practice. Self-compassion. Be as kind and patient with yourself as you would be with a friend learning a new skill. Acknowledge your efforts and the courage it takes to speak a foreign language. Track your progress, not just your errors. Keep a journal or notes on new things you've learned, conversations you've had, or content you've understood. Look back periodically to see how far you've come. You might be surprised. Did you understand a joke in English for the first time? Did you use a new phrase correctly in a conversation? Did you watch a TV show episode with fewer subtitles than before? These are all victories. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait for big milestones to feel good about your progress. Acknowledge and celebrate every small step forward. This positive reinforcement keeps you motivated. Find a supportive community. Connect with other learners or supportive native speakers who understand the challenges and can offer encouragement. Sharing your experiences can make the journey feel less lonely. Remember your why. Why did you start learning English? Reconnecting with your initial motivation. Whether it's for travel, career, personal enrichment, or connecting with others, can provide a powerful boost when you feel discouraged. Your journey to fluent English communication is yours alone. It won't look exactly like anyone else's. Embrace your unique path, with all its imperfections and triumphs. By being patient with yourself, focusing on consistent effort, and celebrating your progress along the way, you'll not only reach your fluency goals, but also enjoy the enriching experience of learning and connecting through language. Conclusion. Learning to communicate fluently in English is a rewarding journey. And as we've explored today, it's about much more than just memorizing rules and words. It's about developing a new way of thinking, listening actively, speaking with growing confidence, even amidst imperfections, building your vocabulary naturally, and committing to consistent, enjoyable practice. Throughout this episode, we've highlighted that true fluency is about ease of expression and connection, not unattainable perfection. By shifting your mindset, focusing on practical strategies like active listening and learning vocabulary in context, and bravely stepping into speaking opportunities, you empower yourself to make real progress. Remember, every small step, every conversation, every new phrase learned contributes to your overall fluency. The key is consistency and enjoyment. Find ways to weave English into your daily life that feel engaging and sustainable. Be patient with yourself. Embrace the learning process with all its challenges and victories, and celebrate how far you've already come. So, whether you're just starting to find your voice in English or aiming to polish your conversational skills, keep applying these principles. Stay curious, stay persistent, and most importantly, keep speaking. English is a vibrant, global language, and by becoming a more fluent communicator, you're opening doors to new connections, opportunities, and understanding. Thank you so much for tuning into Speak Easy English. I hope the tips and insights shared today will help you feel more confident and inspired on your path to fluent English communication. Keep practicing, stay positive, and enjoy the incredible journey. You've definitely got this.